record, so I have that for you. Okay. Hello, ladies. We're live and we have Jacque Zoccoli with us today. And I'm really excited because she is one of our resident experts in LinkedIn. We have a few ladies that dabble a little bit in the LinkedIn arena, but I would say Jacque is super uber duper successful in the alliances area. I'm going to let her talk a little bit more about alliances, but Jacque's been a member of the community for a couple of years now. She's participated in retreats. She goes to conferences. She's an Uber connector. So when you come to the Empower and Elevate conference in March, make sure you're connecting with Jacque. Can't miss her. Did you finish that painting or the drawing that you got last time?
No, I haven't finished it
You
yet.
haven't? Oh, you
No,
should spend time just
I know it. It's
doodling on that
something
during the
that
day
make
to
me
like
relax.
your
Yeah, and
mind.
I
Yeah.
really, yeah, it would be
Yeah.
good. It's sitting there looking at me like, and
Ah,
when?
so I know you're going to share
Yeah,
your screen, but today is all about leveraging LinkedIn. So we're going to talk about profiles. She's going to talk about how you build alliances in LinkedIn, all the stuff that you need to know. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take the mic, Jacque, and start teaching us all about LinkedIn.
well, the only downside of that is I have one of you to talk to. So,
Well,
yeah,
you have a whole
all
Facebook group, right, of hundreds of members that are out there. They're just not live. If I do get a live question, I will let you know that I get a live question. And they can always reach out to you at any time after this to be able to, click on your links and ask questions about LinkedIn as well.
okay, okay. Well, then, Janice, it's you and I and Colleen to be able to answer some questions. First of all, Colleen, I adore you. You know I adore you. And I do everything I possibly can to make your life better if I can, and to bring people to you and your whole platform, which continues to grow, and I love it. Besides, we're kind of neighbors. So all three of us are. That's cool.
Mhm.
Anyhow, my question to the world is, how do you feel about LinkedIn? How do you feel about LinkedIn? And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can still do it in this because I need to know how you feel. Janice, how do you feel about LinkedIn?
I feel like LinkedIn is kind of like the professional water cooler
Okay.
that we don't, because I mean, even for the people who are in an office setting, they're still going to use it. And I don't mean that in the way of like gossip, but more in the way of um news and uh articles and advice and stories, but it's still all, for the most part, from what I've seen, it's still all related to business.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
the professional career,
Yeah.
school, that sort of thing.
Yeah, actually, the way I look at it is that Facebook is the chips and dips and the barbecue, and LinkedIn is those that are serious about business. And I really kind of think that there's a need for both, depending on your business. Though, do you feel comfortable working in LinkedIn? And how much do you use it?
I do. Yeah, I feel comfortable in LinkedIn. I feel more comfortable in LinkedIn than I do Facebook, only because I'm not the chips and dip. I'm very private. So to utilize Facebook, I have to be strategic with the things that I post personally because I don't need people knowing my business.
Yeah, exactly.
And so with LinkedIn, I can kind of keep it more to the business and the professional and the finance, and I fit very well into LinkedIn, so it's probably why I like it.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm going to share my opinion if you
Yeah, I
don't,
was
if
just
I
ready
can.
to
Yeah.
say, I
Okay.
wanted to know, Colleen, what you thought about LinkedIn, which would be a whole different perspective.
It is just because of the type of person I am. So I am one of those individuals who I used to really kind of keep my personal life separate when I was in corporate America. They said we could set up a separate Facebook group if we wanted to, but they wanted us to be promoting our business, that we worked for in our social media platforms. And I was like, well, I have no problems doing that personally. And I have no problems inviting every single one of my clients to follow me, to be my friend, because I built those long lasting relationships with my clients. It was very personal for me working with them to launch a business. They were putting sometimes their kids' college funds on the line, their 401ks on the line. They were putting in hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line to launch a business. And I didn't think it was just business to me. It was really personal because it was personal to them. I got to know their children, their families, their life. And I believe that more that we build those conversations and nurture those relationships, the more comfortable you feel with people knowing your stuff, right? Because how we do one thing is how we do everything. So I wanted them to see who I was in every facet of my life, almost to the point where I wasn't going to hide anything. So I've kind of moved into entrepreneurship the same way. When I first launched Lead Up for Women in the very beginning, I had a separate business page for that because it's what I was taught. I had a separate Instagram. And then when I lost all of that overnight, when the partnership broke up, I thought to myself, I do not want to, it's like a marriage. When you like have a house and you have furniture and you have a last name and then you get divorced, which I've done, you start over. And then it's like, do I switch my name? Do I keep my name? Do I, now I'm in a new address. Now I have to change it with the post office. Now I have to get new furniture. Now everything that I did in the last house, I'm doing in this house, right? Repainting. It felt like this start over. And I am so tired of starting over in my life. I said, the one name no one can take from me is my name. So I'm like, I'm building everything under my brand, me, and then whatever programs I have will fall under that umbrella because I didn't want to have to start over again with a new brand. So it was like, hey, this is me. This is what I do. This is who I support. This is how my life is. I use LinkedIn almost identical to Facebook. However, I use Instagram the most, and that flows to Facebook. Okay. Yeah. Because of the way LinkedIn isn't linked there. I use Instagram the most, that flows through to Facebook. But I will tell you that I have more followers on Facebook, and I definitely have way more followers on LinkedIn, right? And connections. I use LinkedIn as a platform to announce things, to share more about things that are happening in my life with business. It's really not a place where I would put a story about my granddaughter doing gymnastics or my grandson doing football, right? Where I might post an entire Saturday to say, like, here's the 8 games I went to today. What is your typical Saturday like? That might be actually kind of fun to post on LinkedIn because people will be like, oh, that's my Saturday too. And oh my gosh, and you have something to connect with. I think that we forget, because LinkedIn is so business, I think we also forget that they're people. And the more that we can bring that to LinkedIn, people get to know, like, and trust you a little bit more quicker than kind of going through that red tape of business. But that's just me talking off the cuff of my head. I'm not doing those practices. I should be going on LinkedIn more, doing those practices, because I don't think people on LinkedIn know me as a person as much as people on Instagram and Facebook. Because I can tell from my impressions, likes, views, definitely people on the other 2 channels know me more in that area, comment more in that area than I would say they do in the LinkedIn platform, because I show up there maybe a little bit more cleaned up and in business, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Yeah, those are great things to understand, and there is a place for all of them. We know that. They all have, depending on who you're focusing on. Now, Janice, your business is focusing mostly on business people, I think,
Yeah.
versus to have a family focus, right? Isn't it mostly on
It's
businesses?
business to business, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And Colleen, yours is morphed, really. It's women specific,
Mm-hmm.
and whether they are in business or not, you are helping them to grow mostly into a business or with a business. So I'd say you both are pretty much targeting on business. What are your frustrations that you have with LinkedIn? Is it at all intimidating to either one of you?
I'm going to say I wish it was linked like Facebook and Instagram was. Like, you can link Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. They seem to all be very interchangeable. You can say, I want to post on one. LinkedIn is different than that. There are softwares out there that do that, but I mean, in-app software, they don't. That's a frustration of mine because I would love to be able to link a lot of the three of them, but you can't do that. So that's a frustration of mine. Because on both platforms, not on all platforms, Instagram and LinkedIn, I get hit with a lot of people selling.
Yeah. I was going to say that as well.
Yeah.
The direct messaging of the selling it has gotten like
Ridiculous.
out of control.
Yeah.
Stupid. I'm like, no. I love it when they're like, do you want to launch, scale, or grow a business? I'm like, did you go to my profile and
That's
like
my
copy and
frustrating piece
paste
right there.
Yeah.
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 what
Do
I
you need
do?
Yeah.
Because
do you
they're
need a
like, do you need a good bookkeeper, Janice? And she's like, did
seriously?
you look at what I
Do
do?
it all. Just because I'm registered as a business doesn't mean I'm in the same category as everybody else in the world. So, okay, yeah, I hear that. And every once in a while, when I feel frisky, let's put it that way, I'll turn it around and I'll say, oh, by the way, are you at all curious about putting more alliances on your path so you become more profitable? And every once in a while, I'll have somebody say,
Yeah.
yeah, you know? So it's
You
like,
sell them when they're selling you.
yeah,
You should do it every
exactly.
time,
Yeah,
Jackie.
yeah. Well, it's to take the time.
Yeah.
It's usually, what boat did you come off of? I mean, we really,
Yeah.
yeah, where are you coming from? But when I feel frisky and I think, well, maybe they're going to pay attention, maybe it's not a robo,
Mhm.
spray. And what is it? What is it? Spray and pray
Pray and
is what
pray.
they call it, sprayed and pray. So, all right. So do you, either of you, and I could be asking everybody, you're going to be on the spot. Do either of you feel that you have control of finding the people that you want on LinkedIn?
I do now.
Do you?
Because I did I used to have LinkedIn Navigator, and I did go ahead and get that again this year just because I know it works. I like the targeting aspect of it. I like the filtering aspect of it, and I want to grow my following in a certain industry, specifically legal services. So people that have started a business in the last 3 years, they are in the legal services industry. They have the title owner, founder. You really can't do those types of filters anywhere else that isn't just straight up paid advertising, where you're clicking, you know, that sort of thing. So I really do. I like that. I get back to me on whether or not that works, but I can find them.
That's right. See, now that's the point, and that's what I will be making in this whole thing. A lot of us don't even have a clue how to find them, not to mention who to find. I am not of the web concept, not of the concept as Colleen said. I am not of the concept I'm there to find customers. That's not my role. I mean, I can find you one customer and that's nice. You get a customer. But when you find someone with a big mouth and a big sphere of influence, They're going to tell the world because they're targeting the same people you are.
Mm-hmm.
And at first that was asynchronous to me. Well, I don't want to compete with you're not competing. Nobody's competing if you pay attention. You complete, not compete. And that's what I want people to get the concept of, is that LinkedIn is excellent for finding the people to work with, because you both said it right now. I hate people selling me. I hate people coming to me and say, buy, 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 buy. Well, that's because they thought you'd be a customer.
Mm.
And they all have the wrong idea. They're not searching in the right place for alliances. And when someone comes to you, Colleen, and says, you know, I really love the things that you're doing with women. I work with women all the time. What do you think about we collaborate together? Now, would you pay attention to me?
Yeah.
I would think so. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm working together as a teammate.
Yeah.
So, of course, people are going to pay attention to you more than trying to directly sell to them, and nobody wants to be sold. So, I think to start with, it's a mindset of who you are looking for in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I want to show you real quick, like I'll show you a couple of them, but I'm just going to kind of change things a little bit here. And this is kind of a different, and I'll tell you a little bit about me, just in case you're curious who the heck you're talking to. And Colleen knows me well, but not too many others. And I won't go through all of this, just to suffice to say that after being in another country for 2 years in the Peace Corps and coming back into the corporate fold, so to speak, and realizing that's not where I belong, I started my own business in desktop publishing. And in fact, I found out at the retreat, Colleen, that those people that I started, not those people, but that group that I started in Fremont is still going since the 90s, which was fascinating. So anyhow, I started the networking groups and came to the reality, and I'll say this because I get tired of looking at myself here. I will say this, that the concept that I created when I started the desktop publishing and was in the chamber office, I was thinking, I don't want to buy their insurance. I don't want to buy their products. Heaven forbid, I can't afford to do this. And I began to realize, what am I doing here? How are they going to pay attention to me if I don't buy their product? Well, once I realized that everyone has an expertise
Mm-hmm.
and a need and alliances, people going in the same direction, which was the third, but it's mostly expertise and need. It was a piece of cake. All I had to do was fill the need. And the need was an alliance going in the same direction. Did that cost me anything? No. Did it help them to grow? Yes. Did I have to teach them how to help them grow? Yes. But the point is that they got further by creating that kind of a relationship with someone instead of going to try to sell or to buy or whatever. So with that framework, I built a coaching business on that, or actually it's training, it's coaching, it's kind of a combination. But the concept is, how can you supply a need? Well, that grew until now with the coaching that I do. It's not only who can I give you, it's where are they in LinkedIn? How can we get to those people that would be your alliances? And what's the formula to actually get to have them engage with you? So I think that's where people are missing out. They can find them. Like Jenny said, with Navigator and I can find these guys, but that doesn't mean that they're going to pay any attention to you. And that's when you come to me, because I put the verbiage together for you. So what I want you each to do, and I can tell you, but I'm just curious, who's your best alliance, Janice?
Oh man, the tax accountant that I found 5 years ago. That me and him work very well together.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
the strongest one, because you don't do tax accounting,
Nope.
do
And
you?
he doesn't do bookkeeping.
Absolutely. And he
Hmm.
doesn't do bookkeeping. So perfect. Colleen, who's your best?
That's a really good question for me because I don't even know, Jackie, who my best alliance is. I would assume that my best alliance would be other coaches that also have a community, but they're usually, I would say it would be a business coach or a speaking coach or some type of coach that is working with clients that need a space for them to get more visibility, because that's what the Leap community provides, is
Yeah.
that visibility. So I would think that would be my best alliance. And as I think about the people that are in my community that refer women to the community, it is those individuals that do that. And they're so not a health coach, right? But a coach that is working with a client that has a business, and is needs more visibility for their brand, for sure.
Absolutely. So business coach would probably be the top of the list. A
Yeah.
speaker coach, because they're
Yeah.
going to work
Yeah.
with the business owners. Those are obviously the ones so that you both of you have a concept of what that looks like.
Yeah.
So to help the rest of the audience, I think this would help them. It certainly helped me to break out exactly who the target audiences are. And within the 30 some years of doing this, it's altered, but it's still pretty much the same. You
Mm.
have the small business owner, you have home family, you have women focus, you have health, entertainment, and the baby boomer. I put them in a category all by themselves. So when you
Love it.
look at you're going the same direction with those areas, obviously, Janice, you're going to do the small business owner predominantly, not a
Mm-hmm.
question. Colleen, you're going to do the small business owner, but you're also working on women and coaches in some of those areas. But
Mm-hmm.
women, you're not doing home and family, you're not working baby boomers, and you're certainly, even though you're entertaining, don't get me wrong, you're not working in entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is, when you find that target of where you're going, and my concept is go to the people on the same target. If they're working on the same target as you are, and
Mm-hmm.
they see your prospects, and you turn out to be the best thing since sliced bread, they will tell your prospects how wonderful you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. So both of you have come up with an alliance category. I want you to think in your mind, and I know you can think of people in that category. So as we work through this, I want you to consider that you have at least one alliance that you're going through this whole process with. So I want you to consider saying to yourself, either on a piece of paper or some otherwise way, I'm committed to working with my alliances to leverage our combined offerings. Can you two do that?
Mm-hmm.
I am committed to working with my alliances to leverage our combined offerings. I want you to think of the people that you work with as alliances, and I want you to consider at least one to work with. So at this point, then, I would have said, if I had more people in the room, to look around and to decide if anyone here could be your alliance. Now, let's look at this logically.
Well, yeah,
And
I think
it's the
honest.
obvious is yes, you can.
I mean, I think Janice is we're good alliances because I have women in my community that own businesses and they don't have bookkeepers, right? They really don't know the
Absolutely.
first thing. And she said she works with the little ones.
Smaller ones.
And
Uh-huh.
most of the women that are in my community are the little businesses that are producing usually $250,000 and under, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And so if
So it's
they're
perfect.
under that $300,000 mark, then they need a bookkeeper, an
That's right.
affordable, good bookkeeper that's not going to be just a one-off person that's not going to take care of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so just the opposite way, just the opposite way. Business owners need to have visibility. They need to
Mm-hmm.
grow. They need to
Yep.
be, I mean, see, so it's working both ways.
Yeah.
Now, when I first started out before LinkedIn became real in my world, I would go to businesses and say, let's look at your database and I want you to look at your present clients. And they went, why? And I said, because you can reposition them as an alliance when you pay attention. And it never even occurs to half of the audience. Well, but they bought the widget. I said, so what? What are they doing? Who are they targeting? Oh, you're right. And I know them pretty well because they've done it 3 times. I said, pay attention. But when I realized that their database mostly was in a shoebox or over there in that drawer, then I said, this is not going to work. And at that point, LinkedIn arrived. So, okay, I'm spending time, perhaps too much, but not really, because if you don't know your target audience, if you don't know who's going the same direction you are, you don't know who to get to be an alliance. So once you realize who you want to have as an alliance, that's the hard part, is to realize that the next part that's the most obvious and wonderful in LinkedIn is that they're going to do everything they can to make sure you find them. So that again is your next step. So at this point, then I would say, once you've got that down, and I would have had you put 4 of them into the chat, but we don't need that because you're already there and you know who you want. So now let's look around. We don't need to. We go on now and realize that now that you have each other, in this case, you either have alliances or you don't have alliances and you're looking for them. If you're looking for alliances and don't have a clue what that would look like, let me know. That's what I do, is to help you to redefine those. I've had people tell me within the last week, I didn't even think of that category. Where'd you come up with that one? I said, well, are they going to be working with you? Really think about it. I have a gal that I spoke to that really amazing. She works with the frontline people that help us to survive. You know, and when these people get out in the world, they have to do automatic things. And when they get finished with those automatic survive or not survive activities, they bring it home, and guess how much stress they have? Oh my gosh. If they can't turn it off, they're in deep trouble. We're in trouble because they bring it back to work. And so that stress continues. And so between us, we thought of other people, you know, like burned out nurses. She hadn't really thought about that much. What burned out areas can she train them to be on autopilot so that when they need to, they can turn off the auto? So it's a matter of looking at different people that you hadn't thought about. So anyhow, I will help you to look for those alliances. So at this point, we're doing pretty well. I'll do it fast. If I can show you how to leverage those relationships, that's what I want to do. And we're going to do some of it really quickly, because I'd much rather get into the 2 of you in LinkedIn. So we chose the alliances that you wanted to work with. And then I would suggest creating a spreadsheet to collect those names. Let's say that, Colleen, you wanted to work just with business coaches, maybe for 1 month or 2 months. Fine, do a little spreadsheet, and just like you taught us in the 12-week, do a little spreadsheet and do the names and all the basics about them, and then just work on that group. Then go to another one to see if those are going to be your best alliances. So I'm not going to really show you much about a spreadsheet. Then it is to create your toolbox. I'll explain that, and then to leverage. So we're going to move on real quickly with this so that we can do all of that. Step 1, we already figured out who your alliances are. We already figured that someone here is perfect for each other. Here's the keeping track of it. Now, the next part is your toolbox. When you are working with people, you have to have something in exchange. You can't just say, let's work together and give me all your clients. There has to be something in exchange. So what is it that you are literally going to be able to give these people? Now, Colleen can do it in spades. What would you give someone to be in an alliance with you? What would you be giving them in exchange?
Oh,
Or
oh God, goodness, there's tons out there, right?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I mean, I do a lot with, I mean, I do in trades like memberships to the community, spotlights, guest, appearances on the podcast, connections to other people. I can utilize any stage I have virtually or in person as trades. So
Yeah,
that's what I have.
exactly. You've
What
got your
about you,
bag of
Judy?
tricks is huge. Yeah, Janice, what was yours? What would yours would be?
I have the like depending on the partner, if it is tax accountants, I can refer out the tax business because I'm
Yeah,
never going to take
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Payroll
yeah.
companies are another one. I don't do payroll, so the services I don't provide. And then for the other ones, we will be doing an affiliate referral partnership program where I will be able to give
Okay.
people a link and they can go and they can choose to get paid for their leads or not. So the people that sign up, we're going to give commission for, but we do have people that like the tax accountant that I work with, he'll never take money because
Yeah,
he
yeah,
seems to think that's
yeah. That's all
unethical.
what he's about. That's right. So I want the people that are watching this at some other distance to think about what it is that they're going to give in exchange. What is it that's going to make it worthwhile to work with you instead of having you say, we're going to collaborate now, give me your clients. So I want you to think about what it is that you're going to give them in exchange for working with you. And then when it comes to the leveraging, it's really quite simple. You either create a group, you work on who you are mutually connected with. So Colleen and Janice, that would be in your case. And or preferably you schedule posting interaction. You schedule working together. So those are really the three things that you would do. Now, the lovely example that I like to give of this is Colleen's A team. It's always the top. I call it your A team. It's the top of my list. Creating a group. And I'm creating another one. I've done it with a couple of groups. You get a spreadsheet. You have all of these people that they post the first and third or whatever that timing is. They put the post link in. You go to each one and you like, comment, and repost. LinkedIn goes crazy. They love it. And I have already built relationships with at least 50% of those women. I love them. I've found all kinds of wonderful things by doing that. So that's the top. That's the A team as far as I'm concerned. Then you have two other choices. When you have the alliances, I suggest you start with mutual. Now, this is something that you can do either, first of all, yeah, you can do it separately. So when I say mutual, let me just show you what that looks like, because I have a lot of verbiage and not a lot of minutes. I would like to just show you. Let's see if I can do that
You're
real
doing
fast.
great. You're
Yeah,
doing great.
but I really want to do more here. I don't know. It's going to take me a minute to get past this and get into LinkedIn. You don't really need my database. Where's LinkedIn? Dang it. Told me to get ready. Here we go. There we go. So if we go to Colleen, that's the most fun for me. And amazingly enough, it comes up right away, huh? Funny how that works. So if we go to Colleen as she's dancing on her site, come on, Colleen. We only have together 197 mutual connections. I think that's a record, Colleen. I really do believe it's a record.
Really?
So,
That's awesome.
yeah, yeah. Now, I don't know what Janice would say about what she has in common, but it's probably a good size number with Colleen. Okay,
Probably.
so
Yeah.
we're playing with the two of you. I want the rest of you who are not here to take advantage of this and think of one person who you have as an alliance, and this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing this independently though you're using mutual, and then you're going to do it together in that way. So independently, I go to Colleen's and I say to Colleen, Colleen, I'm going to be looking at who we have in common. And some of them I just don't even remember very much or very much about them. Is it okay with you that I speak to them, possibly the three of us getting together, or at least talk to them? So what's Colleen say?
Sure.
Sure, makes sense to her. So I begin to look at what we have, who we have in common. And when I look at those, all these are really my good buds. So I look and I'm thinking, now look, before I do anything, what am I thinking as I go in there? What am I looking for? Janice,
Based
what am
on
I
what you
looking for?
wrote down.
Exactly. You're looking for that target audience. Who is their target audience? It's the same as yours. Now, and it's obvious Colleen has Kimberly, and it's obvious she has Sean. And it's obvious I'm all of these I know really well. But the point is, if I were the two of you and I were well, I'm going to do it with me because that's the most obvious. It's not the same for Janice as it is Colleen and myself. My best target audience is really small business owners because they see the people that need to have LinkedIn cleaned up. So who is it that sees the small business owner is my point. Who is it that's going to see that the coach or is a coach if they are a coach? Now, Kimberly Miner definitely is a coach. Sean Jones has definitely changed over to being a coach. She wasn't before. All of these people see my clients. Chella, definitely, she's doing financial. Brenda McGuire sees everyone in the world. She's great for me because I want to see, and of course, Julie, that's a given. I don't know Nancy as well, Lorraine. So I pick Susan DeMar. I haven't seen her for a while, but you see what she says? She says she's a business consultant and 5 times the revenue sales. Yeah, this is more of a financial, but she does see a lot of businesses. And I know all these people so well. Let's say that I haven't talked to Susan for a while. So I click on Susan. See what I'm doing? This is a mutual. This is a mutual. And yet I am talking to them because I am a mutual with Colleen. So I would say to Susan, I would message her and I would say something to the effect. That's the last thing we said. Don't have to pay any attention to it. I would say something about Susan. You and I have Colleen Biggs as a mutual. Spelling is not my strength right now. So don't say that right. Say it right. I'm going to be doing spelling well. As a mutual connection, and we all target the business owner and women. You see what I've done first?
Yeah.
I've brought in the familiarity. I'm not some lone stranger out there. I've brought in that Colleen is our mutual. I don't even have to. I could say let's 3 of us do something. That might get a little complex, but that's a possibility. Or I'll say I'll reconnect because we haven't talked for a while. How about we reconnect and see what more we can do together? This whole way I put it, am I selling her anything?
Mm-mm.
No, no. Am I asking her what we can do to collaborate? Yeah. Now, do you suppose she's going to pay attention? Yeah. There's a really
Sure.
good chance she is. And maybe I haven't talked to her for a long time. Okay, so how about a Zoom call? Okay, so I put it in her backyard, so to speak. What I would do now is, those were the mutual. That's the example of the mutual. I know that the target is the same for both of us. I know she would be a really good alliance. I know we have mutual and in common. So it's worthwhile for her to do that. Now, when she comes to me and I'll say, you know, when you're talking about the business owners, what is it we can do for them? How about at this point now, when I'm talking to her, I'm going to say, or think in my mind, how? How can we work together? Now, if any of you are religious at all, God tells you don't worry about the hows. Well, this is the exception. You got to start with the how before you're going to get something more. How can we work together? How? How is it? Not can we? So when you approach these people, that's how you want to approach them, is how can we work together? With that concept, it's like what Nancy does, what's her face? You go in with the whole concept of Nancy Matthews. You go in with the whole concept of, is this the one? Is this the one that's going to really change my business? With that open mind, you get a whole other look at life. So how? So now you know how to talk to them. Now you're going to have a Zoom call. Then you're going to figure out how to collaborate, how to make it work. So you see how that works with the mutual. And I've done that totally on my own. I went through Colleen's. Colleen can do that in her own time. Janice can do it on her own time. You have that common bond, and that's a place to work. Now, that's the first way. The second way is that you can do that together. Say, look, I saw so-and-so. That's our common. How about we work together and see if we can build something? So that's really the second way. The third way would be to do the dedicated routine of actually doing this together. So you do it separately with mutual or connections of theirs. Or, and these are the guidelines, you may want to do a screenshot. This is how you talk to them. You talk about what their visions are when you're talking, what is it they're doing, where are they going, how can you collaborate together? And just like I just mentioned, and you can have this presentation if you want to later, but I want to move this quickly into this. And this is what you can do as a dedicated routine. So you set up a routine with this new alliance that you two have. Whatever has come out from that mutual, you've come up with another alliance. So you set up a routine on what to do together. Maybe it's maybe it's once a week that you go and decide you're going to post something. Each of you post on that day. You commit to go to their post, to comment on their post, and to share their post. Simple, really simple. That's all you're doing. Couldn't take you more than 5 minutes. This is spreading it all over. The other thing I love to do, and I've been doing this lately, and it really is kind of fun. I make a list of people that have been very influential in my life lately, that have been a mentor to me. And in this case, it could be people that are alliances. And I decide 1 day a week or 3 days a week or however I want to spread that out. I will either do a video about that person showing their profile as I'm talking, or I'll talk about them and then just give the link to get to them. So in the case of the alliance, you could do that once a week. You could talk about each other in a video, save it, and put it into a post. This way you are getting the picture of their profile if you wanted to add the profile as a screen share, and you're getting the visibility for each other. If you committed to do that and you get a group that are getting that much involved, you'd be surprised what's happening. You are really leveraging your relationship. So once a week on a certain day, go to their post and like it. Each of you choose once a week, may it be a Wednesday, highlight each other in a post. So you're either sharing by going or sharing them in yours. And remember, you have mutual friends. So to be able to work again with the mutual friends. So this is it condensed, like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for yourself. Monday, do something inspiring. Wednesday, do tips. Friday, do a quote. That's just all on your own. Tuesday, go to each other's posts, like them, send them, share them to 10 people, repost. There are all kinds of ways of getting involved there. Thursday, highlight each other in a post. You can do a video, you can share a profile. Remember that your mutual friends are valuable. Commit to exploring whatever number of them you can each week. And when you talk to them, consider what is your commonality. That's the first thing. What is your toolbox that you're going to be offering them? What is it that you're going to say to them? And you shouldn't do this more than 14 times a day, which is a little hard to stomach somebody do that, but maybe if you were so determined. Those are the areas to be able to do the actual leveraging. So what we covered is to find your alliances, pick one to work with. In this case, they were on the screen. Create a spreadsheet to collect the names and your interactions. Be sure you have a toolbox to work together and create a strategy on how to do that. So condensed, you're going to leverage by making sure your profile is up to date. And I do that, by the way. I'm more than happy to fix your profile and rewrite it. Know your tools. Finding the alliances, I do that in LinkedIn Pursuit. I find alliances for you and I show you how to talk to them. Once you have learned how to do that and to get them to engage, my next package is leveraging that relationship. So you come with your alliance, we sit together in Zoom, and for an hour, I brainstorm with you on what to do together. So those are the obvious things that I have just suggested, and those are actually what I'm offering you. Now I'm going to put in the chat. Is this appropriate, Colleen?
Yeah, because I think that, and I'm happy to do it too. Is it the link that you
Yeah,
shared
if you
before?
do,
Yeah.
do that.
And I have
And
put it already in Facebook.
oh, good. Yeah.
Yep.
So that just tells about the different, the actual leveraging part of it, or actually cleaning up your profile, making it your essence, and learning exactly how to talk to these people and how to work with them. So as far as free resources, you can have this PowerPoint, schedule a complimentary Clarity Zoom call.
I dropped that
And
link
then,
in there too.
okay, good. And then on my website, there's what's called a virtual event engagement tips. And I've given you the 3 ways to literally take the people that you meet in virtual events and make sure that you're connecting with them, not just, oh, that'd be nice. Maybe we should, or no. Actually looking at making a screenshot, then a chart, and then actually a form so that you can see what to say to them in the one-to-one. So that's on the website, and just for giggles, that's who I am.
Awesome. I dropped that in there too. So,
Oh, you
and I
did.
dropped them on Facebook. So thank you everyone for joining us on Facebook. If you have any questions and you're watching this on a replay, please make sure that you drop Jacqueline a note. You can go to her website, reach her on LinkedIn, go to her Keep page and schedule an appointment from there. So all the links are there for them to utilize that. Let's go ahead and
Beautiful.
stop
Thank you, Colleen.
this. Yeah.